Somebody once told me the world is gonna owe me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
What's that at the door? It's episode 34. My name is Dan, and welcome.
Are we playing bingo?
That was gold.
I might do that when I run out of ideas of when I need to do intros. Just do the fucking bingo calls, like two ducks in a pond. Whatever it
22?
is.
That's episode 22, so it's too late.
We've done that.
Is that 22? I don't even know the fucking bingo numbers.
I feel like bingo numbers only go up to like 48 or something, so you're going to run out fairly soon if you don't start.
How many bingo numbers are there in bingo?
Two Fat Ladies is 88, so it must go up to higher than that.
Oh, that's true.
Well, glad we cleared that up. I'm Dan, joined by Andy.
Hello.
And Penny.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I started looking it up and it's telling me there's only 75 bingo numbers, so now I'm really confused.
No, that can't be right, because as Andy said, it was 88, right? Two Fat Ladies.
Yeah.
A typical bingo game utilises the num 1 through 75. The 5 columns of the card are labelled BINGO, and the centre space is marked free.
What's fucking 88 then? Where's that come from? Have we got that wrong? Send us your favourite bingo numbers to unusualsuspects@gmail.com. I'm sure we'll read them out. Probably not.
It's clearly 22, 69 and 88. They're the best ones.
Yeah, my sister's favourite is obviously 69, a meal for everyone.
That's not the real bingo thing, is it?
I doubt it, but it's cracking.
Okay, cool. Anyway, we're here to talk about movies, apparently. Andy, what amazing movies have you been watching?
This week I have watched 2 films. And because I clearly have nothing else going on in my life at the moment, I wrote about them both. So I'm going to give you both the choice.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
Do you want a film with Ryan Reynolds and Anna Kendrick? Or do you want a film with Breckin Meyer and Amy Smart?
Oh, you ruined it. You ruined it with Amy Smart.
Deliberate.
Ah.
I think I know the first film. I don't know what the second film is, but should we choose the second film?
Well, Breckin Meyer and Amy Smart is Road Trip, isn't it?
Road Trip?
Yeah. Breckin Meyer and Amy Smart.
Which road trip are we talking about here?
The movie Road Trip with Breckin
She's
Meyer
not
and
in
Amy
Road
Smart.
Trip. No, wait, she's
Yeah,
not.
she is.
She definitely is.
Is she?
She's the main person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's because I've watched Your Trip too much that Road Trip's just gone out of my mind. Lady's choice, Penny.
I hate Amy Smart, but I kind of want to know what you've got to say about Road Trip.
So you're going for the second option, are you?
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Okay. This week, I didn't watch Road Trip. I watched Rat Race.
Oh, Christ. They did another one.
They did another what? Another Rat Race?
No, another film together.
This is the remake, right?
No, this is the 2001 film Rat Race. Have either of you seen it?
No.
Yeah, the one with Rowan Atkinson.
Yes.
Yeah, the remake, you div.
Well, it's a remake of It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, isn't it? But it's not a remake of anything else.
Fair enough, okay. How was it? I have seen it, but I don't remember a thing from it.
I think it's the first time I've watched it in maybe 20 years-ish.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And it doesn't hold up that well, but it's very 2000s. Like, it's thick with slapstick and stuff.
Who else is in it? Because isn't there a huge cast list as well as everyone else?
You've got Whoopi Goldberg, Cuba Gooding Jr., John Cleese, John Lovitz, obviously Breckin Meyer and Amy Smart, and Rowan Atkinson, amongst a whole other plethora of people.
I see. Why does it not hold up?
I regret my decision.
Pen, we'll go through it and you can decide if this is a film you should watch. So John Cleese, he is an eccentric hotel owner. He's fucking loaded. And he puts these random chips into one-armed bandits, and 6 groups of people come out. So you've got like Whoopi Goldberg and her daughter, you've got John Lovitz and his family, Seth Green is in it with his brother, he gets a chip, Cuba Gooding Jr., Breckin Meyer and Rowan Atkinson. And because he's an eccentric hotel billionaire, his whole plan is to send them from Vegas to Silver City, New Mexico to win $2 million. It's kind of like the Cannonball Run.
Yeah, in 2001. That was a lot of money.
It's a shit ton of money, yeah.
The poster is really bad.
Oh, it's very 2000s.
Like, it looks like we made it.
Well, it looks like we made the poster.
Yeah, we made it, but actually my Flandemic posters were better than the Rat Race poster. Putting that out there.
Ooh, shot fired.
Stand by it.
We'll come back and check that poster in 20 years and see if it's aged. So essentially he sends these like groups off to try and get to New Mexico, and it is a case of them getting there first to win the money. Pretty much what I've just said. So behind the scenes, he's also running a second bet. So the core concept of this film is for these 6 people. Behind that, there are a group of like oligarchs and billionaires who are betting on who will win the race.
So it's a race within a bet. A bet within a race, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like horse racing, but with people who can lie and cheat and steal and play dirty.
I see.
So, there's a lot happening in this film. I'm going to shout out a lot of things that just happen randomly. The order is going to be interesting. Are you ready, okay. Penelope?
I am ready. I know she's like second on the list, but can we keep Amy Smart to a minimum, if possible? Thanks.
But she's not on the main cast.
Why do you not like her so much? Let's just clear this up.
I don't know. She was in Justified this week and I just can't stand her.
Is that it?
No, I don't like her in anything. Sorry, Amy. You're not my cup of tea.
It is weird because whenever her name comes up, you just immediately get like prickly about it.
I don't know. Has she got a smug face? We know that annoys me. Maybe that's it.
Much like Sasha Grey did something weird to Dan's trousers, did she do the same to yours?
No. She's not my type.
Fair. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we?
Please.
So they all rush to leave the hotel, and Rowan Atkinson has narcolepsy, so falls asleep standing up in the foyer and is there for probably half the film.
At the start?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll come back to him later on. So the easiest way to get to New Mexico would be how? From Vegas?
Taxi.
Plane.
Train.
Plane.
Oh.
It's a plane. So they all go to the airport.
A taxi. You want to get a taxi from Vegas to Mexico?
It's like 700 miles.
Yeah.
They've got the money if they win it, you know, 2 million. So, yeah.
So they're all at the airport. They're trying to negotiate their way onto the planes and stuff. Seth Green and his brother barge their way to the front of the check-in desk, but they're told that they can't fly. So as a result, they destroy the radio tower.
Wait, why can't they fly?
Because there's no space on the seats.
Okay, fair.
So they destroy the radio tower by backing their truck up to it, putting a hook on it, and I think they were thinking of pulling it over. However, for some reason, the satellite starts rotating and it drags the car up with them. So his brother's then scrambling up a ladder to try and avoid getting run over by a car that is now going upright up a bit of metal. He then falls off, smashes into the windscreen and starts crying as Seth Green starts crying in the front seat.
I mean, you know, airports are funny places and you want to go somewhere, especially if you're going to get $2 million at the end of it. I can see why they're annoyed, but I've been annoyed at an airport, but I don't think I've ever been, that's been my first thought, to like take down the tower, because then you'll never get there on a plane.
Well, yeah, they're trying to stop everyone else getting there.
Oh yeah, okay, good point.
It's very slapstick, isn't it?
It's very slapstick, a lot of this film.
Yeah.
So that rules out everyone from flying. They're all in cars, apart from Brecken, your best friend.
I love him so much.
Because he meets someone at the airport who flies a helicopter and they use a different system, and that person is Amy Smart, your other best friend.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, I love her so much.
Brecken, Maya and I would have the cutest tiny babies, I'm just saying.
There you go, it's out there. Get in touch, Brecken.
Isn't he like 50 now?
So?
In fairness, you're not far off that either.
I mean, she has a thing for 50-year-old men, as we've known.
Doesn't look 50, neither does Oliphant. Just because you all look old.
Whoa, hang on, simmer down. I've looked 40 since I was 20.
Yeah, exactly.
I still get ID'd, thank you very much.
So, Brecken is in a helicopter, that's important. He is now well ahead of everyone else. Meanwhile, John Lovitz and his family, they have hired a car from the airport and they are trying to drive down, and it's supposed to be a nice family holiday with him, his wife, his 2 kids, except he is determined to get to New Mexico. So when his daughter says she needs the toilet and he suggests getting a jar and a funnel, and she then says it's a number 2,
How old's his daughter?
Probably 10, 12.
Oh man, this film. Cringe.
She then has to explain, similar like we did recently, she then has to explain what prairie dogging is.
Oh, okay, similar.
Similar to a turtle head. So Mr. Lovett's resolution to this is to make her stick her ass out the window and poo out of the moving car.
Fuck's sake.
You can't stop for like 2 seconds.
No, you can't. Because the services are 3 miles there, 3 miles back. That's 10 minutes you're losing on the road at least.
Yeah.
And you've got to get there first.
He could stop on the side of the road. She's 10. It's fine. Find her a bush.
She's 10. She's too old to be shitting on the side of the road.
But shitting out a window's fine.
She's not a child. I mean, she is a child, but she's not small.
I feel like there are festival goers that will disagree with you, but we'll move on.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Meanwhile, Cuba Gooding Jr., now he's interesting because he's a disgraced NFL ref. So what happened was there was a coin flip and he couldn't read the flip right, so he cancelled the game and sent all the players off.
What? That's so... What?
Yep.
That's dumb.
Yeah. Instead of just re-flipping the coin, he binned them all off. So he gets in a cab from the airport.
Good choice.
And the driver recognises him as the ref because he's a Cowboys fan and it was Cowboys that were done over. So he drives him into the desert, strips him down and then leaves him. All because of a coin flip.
Oh, because he was the ref of the game and the guy got annoyed.
Because he was the ref, he fucked over his team.
He couldn't just ask the players, what does that say?
No.
This is so fucking...
It's ridiculous, this film. It's great. So, we're now back to the John Lovett's family. I assume he's wiped his daughter's arse.
Probably not.
You never see that.
Good.
I don't think he would have done it himself either. That's weird. But they see a sign for a Barbie museum. And the daughter, having just shot out of a window, gets quite excited about it.
Fair.
Reluctantly, they stop and
hang on. You can stop for the Barbie museum, but they can't stop for her to have a poo.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Or is she like, well, you wouldn't let me poo with dignity, so now you're taking me to the museum?
It's a combination of that and the fact that she's whining about they never get to stop at things she wants to look at. But also his wife headbutts him whilst they're driving because they're all fucking fed up of being in the car.
Wait, his wife's there? So his
wife's there?
She let her poo out of a window?
Again, begrudgingly, yeah.
Right.
So they all get out of the car because they're like at each other's throats. They go to this Barbie museum, except it's not Mattel's Barbie. It is Klaus Barbie, also known as the Butcher of Leon, a Nazi officer.
What?
Now, this is a family of Jews who are now walking around a Nazi museum.
Was it not clear before they paid the entry fee and went in the door? Like, I could see why they were confused to start with, but I feel like there was maybe 1 or 2 opportunities for them to turn around before they went into the museum.
I agree with you. See, I would have thought the Barbie museum would have a bright pink sign.
Yeah.
This is a black sign, so they probably could have seen that and gone, doesn't look like the Barbie logo, but no.
Okay.
Fuck it, we'll go in.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Seth Green and his brother, who have managed to get another car, have seen John Lovett's car on the side of the road, so they break it.
Good.
So John Lovett is forced to steal a car, and it is Hitler's car.
Okay.
So now he's driving around in Hitler's Benz.
And it's even funnier because he's a Jew, I assume.
Exactly, they make references to that.
This is not... Yeah, it hasn't aged. It's 2000 comedy, as you said. It's just not.
Oh, it gets worse. Does
it? Oh, good. Fantastic.
Yep. So, meanwhile, back to Brecken and Amy Smart. So, she is obviously a helicopter pilot. They take a quick detour to her boyfriend, who is Dean Cain.
Christ.
And she catches him cheating on her with her mate in the pool in the garden. So she starts throwing things out of the helicopter to fuck up his truck, including paint, wrenches, a fire extinguisher. By this point, Brecken is a bit panicked because she's obviously acting a bit rational. Yes, Penny.
So they're in the helicopter and she's flying to the house with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And she sees them in the pool.
Yeah.
If you were Dean Cain and you knew your girlfriend flew a helicopter, if a helicopter came near your house and you were cheating, you'd think he'd, like, maybe try and hide it.
Cover her up?
So,
well, he did do that, but by that point, the helicopter was hovering
it was too late
over him.
Okay.
This is irrelevant, but the pool splits and they go smashing into a window that doesn't break. So he gets in the truck to escape. Dean Cain tries to escape. She follows him in the helicopter, flying what I would say is dangerously low, to the point where cars are having to like move out of her way. She crashes his car by sort of forcing him into a bush. And then the engine stalls and they crash to the ground from maybe a metre up. They see sirens in the distance, so they steal his car. She shoves her mate's bra in his mouth whilst his head is stuck in the window, and then they roll down the window and he rolls off. A classic move, I would say.
This is so like going back in time to what we thought was funny, but now I'm just realising. It's kind of like when we watched Eurotrip and we were like, yeah, this just doesn't...
Eurotrip was still funny though.
Yeah, I would say, but this is kind of like... I don't know what the right word.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you if I thought it was funny in 2000 or I think it's funny now. Like,
the fact that I don't remember a thing from it, I think I saw it in like the cinema as well. The fact that I can't remember a thing from it is very telling, I guess, from it.
I don't think it's a bad film. Like, it's an odd film, but I think depending on if you've been drinking or stuff, I think it would... Like, it feels like a stoner comedy, but that's not what it was intended to be, if you know what I mean.
That's the thing, isn't it? If it can still be funny but be dated, you can still watch it now and be like, oh, that is probably not a joke we'd make anymore, but it's still a pretty funny film, I guess.
Yeah, it's like Blazing Saddles. It doesn't necessarily hold up to 2021, but it's still a cracking film and it's still pretty funny.
Fair enough.
So, Cuba Gooding Jr., he's been walking through the desert. He's now just in his...
He's never going to get there doing that.
...boxers and a vest. And he finds a rest stop, storms into the toilet and sees a bus driver. So he takes his clothes by persuading him that his wife is giving birth and he needs them for different things. He needs the hat for her labia and stuff.
Why does he need a hat?
He needs his jacket for her placenta. It's weird.
Surely he just needs some pants and a shirt. He doesn't need the hat.
That's all he needs, but he needs everything. Oh. So he manages to get it all, leaves looking like the bus driver, gets on this bus, and it turns out the bus is heading towards an I Love Lucy convention, and it's just full of people dressed as...
He could have just asked the bus driver really nicely to give him a lift.
For a lift. Yeah. That's the problem with this film, Pen. There's a lot of things that don't make sense.
Yeah, but then the film would be... I mean, it could be this, but the film would be boring if you just had a guy going to a bus driver. Can I have a lift?
Yeah, sure. If it made sense. If people were sensible and used logic, it would be dull. Back in the hotel foyer, Sleepy Bean wakes up.
Sleepy Bean?
He remembers he's in a race, runs straight out of the hotel door and gets hit by a van. And the van is being driven by Wayne Knight.
Who's that?
Wayne Knight?
Wayne Knight is the guy from Jurassic Park, Nedry.
Oh, okay, yep.
Okay.
Okay. It turns out Wayne Knight is an organ delivery driver and he's heading to New Mexico to deliver a heart for a heart transplant.
When you said organ delivery, I thought you meant like the piano.
Pianos.
Oh, fuck's sake, Penny.
No.
I don't know why that was more... That makes more sense than... Fucking... Anyway, go on. Sorry.
None of this makes sense.
None of it makes sense. So we're now back to Whoopi Goldberg, who we've not really seen much of. She ends up off route somewhere with her daughter and they find this nice little squirrel lady, played by Kathy Bates. And she asks for directions and Kathy Bates is like, buy a squirrel. Look after the squirrels. Have a squirrel. And they refuse.
What?
So
that's wrong. Get a pet squirrel.
Yeah, she's kind of like Annie Wilkesing it. If you know what I mean. Like, seems quite sweet and nice, but then there's a bit of a sinister edge to it. So she gives them directions, and they follow the directions, and it takes them off a cliff and into a pile of scrap cars.
This is like, you know when you got all those news stories of people following sat-navs into rivers?
Yeah.
I'm like, I get you, but also there was time for you to stop before you drove into the river or before you drove off a cliff. I know this is not the point of this movie.
Also, this is a written film written by someone and that went, that'd be funny.
So they went over a hill and then when they came down the other side, like the peak they couldn't stop. I don't know why they didn't brake, but it just sent them careening down this hill off a cliff edge and into a big pile of cars. After they hit the car and the back levels out to their flat, The car in front of him, the boot opens, and a skeleton pops out holding a bag that says, "I love squirrels."
Oh, fuck's sake. All right.
So she stole the squirrels off of whoever was selling them before?
Nah, Kathy Bates gives everyone a bag that says, "I love squirrels." It's got nuts in, just in case you see squirrels down the road.
Oh, okay.
So you can feed them. She's nice like that. Meanwhile, the Green brothers, they realise that there's two of them. They can both drive. So if they get a key cut...
They realise there's two of them. Sorry. Oh, there's two of us.
It takes them about halfway through to realise that. Weirdly, no one else thinks about that. No one else thinks, well, we'll do that. They don't bother. So they go to get a key cut, and the hardware guy overhears them talking. Seth Green is like, don't talk to anyone. Don't tell anyone about there being $2 million in this place in locker number 001. Don't tell anyone.
Very specific.
The guy hears them, obviously, runs off with their key.
Jesus fucking Christ.
We're now back to Cuba, who's still driving.
Who's hijacked this bus of I Love Lucy people.
Yep. There is a Lucy on there smoking, so he asks her to put the cigarette out the window, and she does. But in classic 2000 style, it blows back through an open window and sets alight to another Lucy's hair. So they put the flames out with a jacket. The jacket is then passed down the aisle to the toilet, where they stuff it in, flush it, and obviously, because it's a jacket in a bus toilet, it overflows and starts to flood. Except that somehow they swerve, and then a big bottle of soap spills out, and there's big bubbles everywhere. Ridiculous.
Yeah, you got to take soap to a I Love Lucy convention, because reasons.
Yep.
Imagine this is the pitch they got. Everyone just sat around the table going, right, here's the next scene. Like, it's just one thing after another where I'm just like, I'm dead inside, slowly.
Yeah.
Do you want to know my favourite bit of trivia I've just found out about this film?
Go on then.
There's a guy in this film who plays the rental car trainee, and he's the guy from the Pretty Fly for a White Guy video by The Offspring.
Oh,
that's really weird, because I thought he looked familiar.
Haven't I seen you before?
I couldn't work out where it was.
It's because he wasn't talking Spanish.
Probably, yeah. He didn't have a 13 tattoo. Or 31. Anyway, let's keep going. So, the Greens are still chasing the hardware guy. And the hardware guy drives into a field where there's a lot of hot air balloons. So he jumps into one and starts to float away. Obviously, they are trying to get the key back, so they chase him. The brother gets out onto the hood of the car, and then Seth manages to grab the rope, so there's now no one driving the car that his brother is on the hood of.
Even though there was two of them that could drive.
Yeah, and Seth Green is now hanging from a rope, dangling from a hot air balloon. The rope then manages to wrap around a cow's hoof and drags the cow into the air with them. And the force of picking up the cow forces the hardware guy to drop out of the basket onto the rope. So now they're face to face fighting each other over this one key.
Fucking hell.
Sorry, who's in the hot air balloon? Anyone?
No one's flying it. It's now just a rogue hot air balloon. So there's a rogue car and a rogue hot air balloon.
And the rogue hot air balloon has got a rogue rope which manages to pick up a rogue cow.
Yeah.
Okay, moving.
I should add, Seth Green was also being like flown into cows and bashing them, like hitting them in the side and stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're now face to face, they're fighting. Seth then squirts cow from the milk udders into the guy's face, steals the key, and then drops into a lake.
I can't let it go that you said cows from the milk's udders. I'm really sorry. Sorry.
We've talked about cows before. You surely know.
He then starts squirting milk from the cow's udders.
Well done. I got it.
Edit that back in. Perfect.
Yeah, sure. No problem.
So, back to Cuba Gooding Jr. We're all over the place on this. Is anyone keeping up?
I mean, it's one thing after another, isn't it? I'm just
it's constant.
Bewildered about the writing.
It's constant.
And stuff.
This is me like toning it down and quickening it up as well.
Did you enjoy the film then? Did you say you enjoyed this?
I mean, I didn't mind it. I quite like John Cleese. He's quite fun. There are some fun moments in it. There was a lot of crap. The last 10 minutes was bullshit.
Okay. Just wondering.
Only the last 10 minutes.
Okay, there was a lot of bullshit, but we'll get to the last 10 minutes shortly. So we're now back to Cuba Gooding Jr. He's still driving the bus with the Lucys. The cow then smashes into the windscreen. Because obviously it does.
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Does it turn into a burger or something?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right.
So he panics, swerves the bus, blows a tyre, and the Lucys all try and help him whilst he's changing the tyre. Except by doing that, they let go of the spare tyre so it rolls down a hill. And then they tip the whole bus over.
Out of spite?
I'm like, I don't know. They just like, it just seems to go for no reason.
Maybe is it because all the Lucys are holding it up to change the tyre?
Maybe, but then they'd all be flattened. He then starts telling them that he's not a bus driver. And they're like, no, you're the best bus driver ever. And he's like, no, I'm genuinely not a bus driver. Then they start chasing him and he runs down a hill to escape from them. Meanwhile...
What is this fucking film?
Meanwhile, John Lovitz is still in Hitler's car and the kids are there. One of them's playing with Hitler's harmonica.
Of course, the classic.
The other is wearing Eva Braun sunglasses.
Wow. Okay.
And his wife, Babs, I think, is wearing Eva Braun's lipstick, which is quite a deep shade of red, almost a brown, you could say. Lovitz himself, he is playing with a cigarette lighter and he burns his finger, his middle finger. So he sticks it out of the convertible to cool it down, then looks across and he's giving a biker the finger. He then apologises and his wife is like, oh, he's just trying to cool his finger down, and also gives her the finger. So then the bikers attack the car, run them off the road.
It's just one thing after another, isn't it? It's just one thing.
It's exhausting. So they end up crashing into this World War II reunion, right?
See what I mean? Do you see what I mean?
Just happens
one
to me.
thing, another thing. Oh, it's just...
And if it wasn't bad enough that they were in Hitler's car, where John Lovitz was playing with the cigarette lighter and put it on the dashboard, when he crashed, it flew into his mouth, so he's now burnt himself, and his face hits the steering wheel, and he's now got dark lipstick on his face, making him look and sound like Hitler.
Is the lipstick giving him a Hitler stash?
Yeah.
Of course it does.
He then goes to talk in front of the World War II veterans to try and explain it, but obviously because his mouth is burnt, he just sounds German, and he's doing salutes and giving them the finger and stuff.
He just sounds German.
Obviously.
He just sounds German. How is that?
I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? You have a hot slice of pizza, you sound German because you burnt yourself.
You sound German. Right, okay.
Not even that. Like, you sound like Hitler, which is, I feel, slightly more specific.
Yeah, yeah, it's weird. He then gets shot at.
I wonder what Germans sound like when they burn their mouths.
I imagine Greek. So back to Mr. Bean. He's still in the organ transport car.
This feels like a Mr. Bean fucking film.
It's so weird. He's back in the van and Wayne Knight is like, hey, guess what I've got?
Is it dinosaur embryos?
No, it's better than that. So Rowan Atkinson is supposed to be an Italian in this film, by the way. So he's like...
Is that because he burnt his ear or something?
No, but it is like a really bad Italian accent that just... He barely says things, and when he does, they're like nonsensical.
Scusi.
So...
Mario.
Yeah, similar to that guy. Similar to that guy in Eurotrip. So Wayne Knight's like, I've got a heart. And he's like, cool. Do you want to see it? So they get the heart out.
Don't think you're supposed to do that.
No, this is a sealed heart in a big block of ice. They take the heart out and then they drop it.
In the block of ice? Like literally enclosed?
It's not in a big block of ice. It's in ice cubes to keep it cool.
Okay.
But they drop it. He goes to pick it up and he actually picks up a toffee apple. No idea why.
They're not similar?
No.
I don't know why you would have like a toffee apple rolling around the bottom of your van. That's a weird thing for me. And I've got a lot of shit in my car.
Situational comedy. Yay.
Yep.
Like if they weren't in a van, I'd be expecting a dog to run over and get it or run off with it. Like that would be the next trope, right?
Interesting you say that, because as they're trying to put the heart back into a bag,
a bird swoops into the car and gets it.
It flies out the window.
How?
And then a dog gets it.
Hey, how does it fly out the window? It's on the floor.
It has wings, maybe.
No, they pick it up, they try and put it back in this like plastic bag.
It's too hot or cold. Oh, it's out the window.
They hit a speed bump or something, or they swerve. I think they actually hit an exhaust pipe that's fallen off the back of another truck, like Final Destination style.
Yeah.
Yep.
The heart flies out the window. A dog gets it.
Obviously.
They chase the dog, and then they find the dog, and he's been electrocuted on an electric fence.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Why?
This is so stupid.
Why couldn't the dog have just stolen it? Like, it's too late. You can't have it back. Like, you didn't need to electrocute the dog.
Because there has to be some sort of tension. I'll tell you why, because there's a trope later on that was predictable, but we'll come back to it when we get there. So, back to Whoopi Goldberg. She
finds a dinosaur and they become police detectives.
She's in the desert. Why were they in the desert? Oh, because they had to abandon their car after they crashed it.
Yeah, because there's no normal journey in this scenario. It's just something will happen on one of these journeys that is bound to happen.
My mum and dad have driven from like LA to Vegas, although we've done it a couple of times. And now I'm just really grateful that none of these things happened to us, because it sounds more dangerous than I assumed it was.
It's because you've never driven from Vegas to New Mexico, that's why.
No, true.
It's treacherous roads.
Watch out for the squirrel lady. So Whoopi Goldberg and her daughter, they are in the desert. They see like this tent set up, and they go and find out what's going on. There's loads of food and water, so they're sort of rehydrating.
Why? You've got to go get $2 million.
They're rehydrating after being in the desert.
Okay.
They then see a press conference on the other sort of side of them.
Is it Neil Breen?
Close. What it is there is a rocket car, and they're about to try and break the land speed record.
Oh,
So obviously, Whoopi Goldberg gets in that car.
Yeah.
Because she's definitely allowed to do that.
I bet you she just gets to New Mexico with no problems at all, the fastest, like nothing else happens. I bet you that's just what happens here.
So they get in the car.
Yes.
And people are asking
who the fuck are you and you wire in this car?
Guys. No one's even noticed that they're in it. But people are asking like the science guys, oh, what's the top speed? What's the current record for the land speed and stuff? And she's like, how do you start it? So he tells them how to start it. She pulls a green lever and they are off immediately. They break the land speed record.
Hold on.
Well done.
They then get out of the car, and because they're so fucked up from being in a rocket car with like no oxygen and stuff, they're walking and sort of a bit dazed and stuff, and they come across a group of mentally handicapped people,
right,
who are on a day trip.
Oh no.
And they are then put on the bus with them.
Okay.
Bet that goes well. Like, I bet that's aged really well.
Yeah, I'm afraid about what's going to happen now.
So we'll come back to them.
Okay, thanks. All right. Can't wait.
John Lovitz, meanwhile, he's told his family the truth. He said they were trying to go to New Mexico for a job interview for Inc. Terrible. It's terrible. But he tells them that it was actually to try and win $2 million.
I mean, surely that's a reasonable reason to go. Like, did he need to lie about that?
That's a better reason to go for me. Yeah, I'd be like, fucking let's do it. Let's go now.
Yeah, we won't stop at the fucking Barbie museum, Dad. Keep going.
Yeah. I'll shit out the window as well. It's fine. So they tell him that they just want a normal holiday. So he says, okay, fine. Walks off, gives them all a milkshake, except he has laced the milkshake with sleeping tablets. So they're all drugged. He then puts them in a recovery truck and heads to Silver City.
So he drugs his family and leaves them, like puts them in a truck?
No, he drugs his family and gets the recovery truck to take them to Silver City.
Oh, okay. I thought he'd left them.
So he's with them.
Okay.
That would be weirder.
Right, who knows with this film?
Imagine like putting your family on a recovery.
Just be like, can you take them home, please?
Pickup truck, and then just not getting in yourself. They've broken down. Just take them.
Just take them home. Some of them shit out of the window, but don't worry about it.
So we're now back to the Brothers Green, and they're driving in the same car they had for a while. They get distracted by the car next to them when the girl in the other car has lots of piercings and they're comparing them. She ends up flashing her tits at them and it distracts them so much they drive off the road and into a monster truck rally.
Is this why it was recommended to you?
Fuck off. This is fucking bollocks.
They're then dodging monster trucks left and right, trying to avoid them. They manage to come to a screeching stop in a car park. And there's all these cars lined up. And I think we know where this is going.
No idea. No idea.
That's correct. There is a truck about to jump and crush them all.
Oh, yeah.
So as the truck is in midair, they realise and they panic to get out of the car. They do get out of the car, and then they end up stealing the monster truck. And I don't really know how. I think the driver gets out of the monster truck and he's like, there were 2 guys in there. Then you see them fucking off in a monster truck, then driving down a main road.
It's not entirely quick, the monster truck.
No, they're slow as shit.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not the best.
We are now at the point where they are all very close to Silver City, which is where the train station that has the locker and the £2 million is. $2 million. There seems to be some slow traffic. The monster truck's not going very far. The recovery truck is going slowly. Brecken and Amy's truck is also going slowly. And that is because Cuba Gooding Jr. is in the middle of the road on a horse. They then see the station.
We don't know how he got the horse, do we?
He just sees a horse on the side of the road and gets on it.
Just as you would.
That's fair.
Yeah.
As you would.
Well, for $2 million, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was about 15 miles away when he sees it. 15 miles on a horse, that's not going to be quick.
No.
Logistics brought to you by Andy.
They're now running down the main road to trying to get to the station. They are all in shitty states. They're like limping and stuff and hobbling. But Sleepy Bean, and I've missed a bit here, Sleepy Bean, after him and Wayne had decided that the heart was probably fucked, they talk about finding a drifter, cutting out his heart.
Oh, wow.
And then Wayne Knight is looking at Sleepy Bean like, yeah, that's it. I'm going to cut you up. So he runs away, jumps and lands on a high-speed train.
What? I feel like it's hard to jump on a train, let alone a high-speed one.
I mean, this train has got to be going like 70 miles an hour or something. And he jumps in between carriages.
Parkour beam.
Yeah, meanwhile, so after he's jumped in it, Wayne Knight's like, oh, this is bollocks. I'm really annoyed. He puts his hand in the electric fence and then the heart starts beating.
No.
This is the only problem she has, is this bit.
So, everyone is now running towards the station, except for Sleepy Bean, who has just got off the train and he is there. He sees John Cleese's assistant Grisham, who has been involved in all kinds of schemes up until this point. He runs to the locker, puts his key in, and then falls asleep before he can open it and get the money.
Why is he so sleepy? Is he narcoleptic or he's just tired from being on the train?
He is narcoleptic.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, probably should have added that in earlier, right? Doesn't matter.
Just thought he was sleepy.
Nah, he's narcoleptic. So he's fallen asleep with his key in the locker. Everyone else then storms in, tries to get their key in the locker. Seth Green eventually manages it, whips the locker door open.
There's nothing in it.
And it is empty.
Of course it is.
And Cleese's assistant and a hooker, who made an appearance earlier in the film that was largely irrelevant at the time, they take the money, escape in the convertible, and they talk about running away with the cash together. However, the cow that is still attached to the hot air balloon then dangles into the car and crushes her.
Fuck off. This is
fucking...
The hardware guy, who has been holding onto the rope for probably half an hour, also lands in the car, sees the bag of money, ties it to the rope, and then cuts the rope that's still attached to the cow's hoof, thinking he's going to be able to hold onto it and fly away with the money. Except he forgets to hold on. So now there's just a bag of $2 million floating around.
He forgets to hold on.
Yep. So now all the contestants get on this bus, like a red London bus.
It's amazing they all got there at the same time, really, isn't it? It's quite impressive.
I mean, it's impressive.
Very.
So they're all on this bus, they're following the balloon. It's night by this point. John Cleese is like, shit, we'll go and find them, we'll track them, and then we'll meet them there for the award ceremony. The bus then smashes through this big curtain onto a stage, and they are suddenly on stage with everyone's favourite 2000s band, Smash Mouth.
Oh, of course.
Smash Mouth are like, oh, thanks so much, what are you going to do? And they're like, oh, we've got all this money and we're going to share it. And they're like, I can't believe it, you're doing such a good thing. And then they realise it's a benefit concert.
Hang on, I thought the money was attached to a rope. Who's got the money now?
So the rope ended up getting lodged in the stage so they could get to it from on the stage, which they do.
That was convenient, wasn't it?
Yeah. in front of everyone.
Yeah.
Like, this is a crowd who's totally silent and a band on stage who's not doing anything. It's pitch black, and then the lights come on, and everyone's like, thanks so much for being on stage with us and whatever. They end up donating their $2 million to this charity.
I was going to say, don't say Smash Mouth.
Cleese isn't all that happy about it. So Brecken is like, Mr. Donald Sinclair, he'll match whatever you pay. And then you just see the numbers go up to like 15 million. So he's going to match another 15 million or whatever. And then the credits roll as All Star plays, and they're all crowd surfing. And it is very 2000s. Like, the plot could have been done in maybe... I mean, it could have definitely been neatened up. Mm-hmm. It's not aged that well, but it's still quite funny in places. I recommend it. 10 out of 10.
No.
Just listening to that, I was just like, what's coming next? Here we go. Something's gonna happen that's out of the ordinary, but also kind of...
It's no holds barred. It's just constant.
Yeah.
Like, every scene, there's something fucking bonkers.
If it helps, it's made me think of a 2000s film that I'm going to put in the hat now.
Oh, no.
Because there's not enough of them.
Is it Road Trip?
Mm-mm. Yeah, is it Road Trip?
No.
The other one.
Amy Smart, get off my telly.
So, yeah. That is 2001's Rat Race.
Wow. Thank you very much, Andy, for that.
You're welcome. Maybe I'll talk about the other film next week.
Ooh. Maybe you will.
6 identical keys. They all open the same locker. That's locker 001. Inside the locker is a red duffel bag. Inside the red duffel bag is $2 million. In cash, 50s and 100s makes a pile about so big. First one there keeps it all.
Penny, what you been up to?
I didn't really have time to do anything. Sorry, everyone. But I did watch... Don't shake your head at me. I did watch Kingsman, and I had a question.
Wow, James Bond inspired Kingsman?
That's my question.
Oh.
How come Kingsman was really good and James Bond is shit? How does that happen?
Is that your question?
What's that about?
Really?
Because they're different films.
Opinions?
I really enjoyed Kingsman. I was like, why can't James Bond movies be like this?
They're totally different films, though.
Yeah, they are. Very different.
Why? They're both spy films.
So James Bond is grounded and set in reality. Kingsman is a comic book film, so is not set in reality, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so it's better than James Bond because it's a comic book movie.
But you're preferencing it as being better than James Bond is what I mean.
In my opinion, it's better.
Yeah, in your opinion, it's better than James Bond, the one James Bond that you watched.
And that Pierce Brosnan one that I've seen, probably.
Yeah, but that doesn't count because the Pierce Brosnan ones are not great.
Yeah.
But they're totally different. Like, they are... obviously, the Kingsman is more colourful and vibrant and...
more comic relief.
Yeah, it's funnier. The action is totally different. It's bigger, it's bolder. They also came out probably 10 years apart. Actually, that's probably not right, actually.
I didn't mean that specific James Bond. I just meant James Bond in general. Like, I was surprised how much I liked Kingsman, seeing as how much I didn't like James Bond.
Well, we learn something new about ourselves every day, is all I can say.
Have you seen the second one?
No, I heard it wasn't as good.
Oh, there you go.
It's not. I watched it last week and it's not great. I will say this for Kingsman. Colin Firth was incredible, considering he's only known as being like that boring prick from Bridget Jones.
Yeah.
To you.
Like the shit he does in this film.
I'm sure he would say he's known for other things, but yeah.
Yeah. King's Speech.
Yeah. Mr. Darcy. Boring roles.
Are they doing a prequel to Kingsman?
Yeah, it's called The King's Man.
No, it's not.
It's not even a joke. Legitimately called The King's Man.
The King's Man. No.
The King's Man.
That's silly. I love it.
Out next year.
Not the Kingsman. Mun. With the mun on it.
No, The King's Man.
Oh.
It's a prequel. It's set during one of the world wars, I think.
Oh, okay.
Do we know if it's going to be like how the Kingsman became a thing, or it's just old Kingsman from the days of yore?
I think it's old Kingsman from the day. Oh, well, I honestly don't know. I mean, the trailers I've seen look wank.
Oh.
So
I watched the second one, but why was it not as good as the first one?
it's just rinse and repeat.
Oh, okay.
And they
Like all James Bond films.
They have the US version of Kingsman, the Statesman in it.
Okay.
And they made a big deal about certain actors being involved in it, and then they're in it for a very short period of time, so it's kind of pointless.
Oh.
Isn't Chris Evans or someone in this? I haven't seen the second one. Someone like that is in the second one.
Pedro Pascal is in it.
Oh, Mando.
Jeff Bridges is in it. Halle Berry's in it.
Oh, they really went all that.
Channing Tatum's in it.
Channing Tatum, that's it. Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. But it's just not as good. So the first one, the ending of like the whole anal scene is largely not needed. And in the second one, there is a similar scene.
For people who haven't seen.
It's not a spoiler.
It's not a real spoiler, no.
In the second one, there's a similar scene, and it's like, that's pretty unnecessary. You've done that joke. You don't need to do it again.
Well, if the first formula worked, why not do it again? That's probably what I guess they were.
Yeah, but not the same jokes. Because
Yeah.
in my opinion, all the James Bond movies are the same and are rinse and repeat in a way. But if you're going to do the same jokes all the time, then that seems a bit pointless.
Yeah, it's not as good. I also watched
You
Spectre
can learn from us.
last night, weirdly. So I watched another Bond film, and that's not as good as I remember.
That's
Spectre.
a really bad one to pick.
So hang on,
Yeah.
far they're all bad except
2.
Casino Royale,
Casino Royale's good. Skyfall is good.
and the rest are bad.
Quantum of Solace is crap. Like nothing happens in it at all.
Awful.
2-hour films about nothing.
So hang on a minute, how come I'm like I don't like James Bond films, they're stupid, and you're all like, no they're not. Well actually, out of like the 20, only 2 of them are any good.
We only talked about Casino Royale.
Which was fine.
Casino Royale is a fine film. It's a good film. But yeah, if we talk about the other ones, sure, we're probably not going to like them, but Casino Royale's good.
They're very dated.
I've had so much stick this week for saying I don't like James Bond.
Good.
But it sounds like, if we're going with like statistics or percentages, that only, I don't know how many James Bond films there are, and I don't know any numbers, but it sounds like a small percentage of them are good, which is not that good.
Diamonds in the rough.
It's interesting that you've had heat for not liking James Bond, but I've had none for my odd views on Matilda.
Someone told me it was treason to not like James Bond, and then I told him I don't like tea. And
Yeah,
it
I
was
saw
even
that.
worse.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, watch Kick-Ass 2 if you want. Watch Kingsman 2, but I think...
That's a different film.
Nick Cage's brilliant.
Well, because they're both comic books and they're both directed by Matt Vaughn, so the style is the same between them both. I would say Kick-Ass is a better franchise, and even the second Kick-Ass is not as good as the first.
No,
It's
not.
again similar, rinse and repeat, but watch the second Kingsman
Okay.
and then report back to us how you feel about it.
Will do.
And then watch Skyfall.
No.
Then watch Skyfall, because that's a good one.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Then watch Quantum of Solace for the laugh.
I don't want
Well, in fact,
to.
you should watch Quantum of Solace and then watch Skyfall, because you'll be like, yeah, this is dire. And this one's fucking fantastic.
Watch them in order, and then watch No Time to Die when we can go back to cinemas.
I don't want to.
Okay, fine then. Don't.
I won't.
Is that everything?
Yep. Sorry, that's all I managed to watch.
Sorry, love. Gotta save the world.
If you save the world, we can do it in the asshole.
I'll be right back.
Right, so, guys, I have a confession to make.
Here we go.
Uh-oh.
I'm a gamer. I'm a bit of a gamer. And like all gamers, and as I was quite inspired to do this by Andy's Resident Evil franchise
Oh, God.
movie watching that he did a couple of episodes ago.
Super Mario Brothers.
I think I've just worked out what you watched.
Have you? So I was thinking, you know what? Since I am a gamer and I could represent the gamers on the movie podcast.
As if they're not represented enough. You and I talk about them most weeks.
Yeah, I know. We talked about Assassin's Creed the other day, I think, on this podcast.
No, yeah.
I thought, why not see if I can find a movie, since a lot of them are terrible, and I know, like, there's a lot of them new ones coming out, like Uncharted, as we talked about before, and obviously Monster Hunter came out and all that. Let's just see if we can go and investigate some of these films that probably some people may have not seen, that may be hidden gems for the gamer folk. So, my first film in this journey was the 2009 film Gamer, starring Jared Butler.
Can't say I've ever heard of it.
Have you not? Well, you're in for absolute
Well,
treats.
I'm a filthy casual. Oh, Michael C. Hall's in it.
Yeah, so this is a film made by the same guys that made Crank.
Oh.
going into this, I thought, you know what? It's probably going to be a lot, it's going to be loose. It's going to be a bit crazy. It's going to have that kind of Crank feel of going mental. Andy's shaking his head. Have you seen this film before I go into it?
Yes, I have. I have, yeah.
Oh, joy. Let's relive it slowly together, because I've got a lot of, not a lot of notes, but there's a lot of notes on one particular thing. But yeah, it was 2009 film, and this came out in between Crank and I think the second Crank and stuff. It didn't do very well. Obviously, it's a Jared.
It's got a good cast.
Yeah, Ludacris is in it.
There's Logan Lerman. I love him.
Logan Lerman's in it. He would have been tiny.
He's Simon.
Oh, of course he is, yeah.
Terry Crews is in it. John Leguizamo.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in this who signed up to being gamer. So the thing about it is, I really didn't know what it was about. I knew it wasn't like it didn't do well, but I didn't know what like the premise. Usually with these kind of films, it's like it's based off a franchise.
Yeah.
So with Gamer, I was like, maybe it's got the Ready Player One trying to do that kind of Ready Player One thing. Maybe might be not as good as Ready Player One, but either way, we'll go into that another time. But it ended up being something that the first time I watched, I fell asleep to, as anyone to fall asleep. So I had to watch this twice because I couldn't remember the start of it, and I fell asleep in the first 20 minutes, I think. So the one thing I will say that's carried on into this film is it's very Crank-like. It is shaky cam to the point where I felt motion sickness.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like in the opening 10 minutes, I was ill because it was so... They remember when Penn talked about as well, when she talked about internet ghost stuff.
Yep.
And the internet connection seemed to go bad when things go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, they play on this trope a little bit with having the shaky cam, but also having glitches as well. So you would see like the camera glitch out or the people on screen glitch out for like a minute on top of the shaky cam, on top of the explosions, on top of Jared Butler's face in my fucking view, all in one scene, and I didn't know what was going on in a lot of these scenes. There was a lot of shooting and bang bang and a lot of Crank kind of stuff, but it was a lot to kind of take in.
So I would say this is when Jared Butler was at his peak.
Okay, if you want.
This was like a few years after 300, not long after Law Abiding Citizen. And I would also describe it as Death Race meets Call of Duty. It's like Death Race for a shoot 'em up, innit?
Yeah. I think, the action parts, maybe the other parts of it, I have... Anyway, we'll get to it. So the main story, I won't go through every single detail. I'm just going to give you the highlights or the lowlights of this film, more or less. We meet Cable, who is played by yours truly, Jared Butler. And he basically is a man who... So the way this works is the world is like 2037 or some bollocks or something. Jared Butler is kind of on death row. And the way this world works is if you're on death row, you have a chance to live or escape death row by competing in shooty games, real life shooty games, by shooting other death row shooty inmates. Or if you win 30 games, you get free from your death. It doesn't matter what you've done. You just get free by winning the 30 games of Call of Duty.
Absolutely mental, isn't it?
But the way it works is that because it's 2037 or whatever, people outside of the prison, I guess, or where these guys are kids that play these games, and they can control these convicts using VR.
Is it Human Robot Wars?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Wow.
So Cable is controlled by this 17-year-old rich kid who has like the biggest VR widescreen TV, and he plays, I forgot the name of the actual like the game itself, but he plays as this character, and he's up to 28 victories, so he only needs 2 more, and then obviously Cable gets released. Now the kid controls Cable. He controls his movements. He controls what he sees, what he shoots. Cable doesn't have any control over his actions. It's all been done by a kid.
He's Sergeant Bash. I'm so in.
Jesus Christ, that's a deep cut for anyone. So this kid is like popular, and so is Cable, because they're like the only people that have gone on this streak to win 28 games. The kid is rich. Cable is not really rich. He's just like alive. He's glad to be alive. But he can't do anything because he's been controlled by a robot.
What does the kid get out of it? Just
money
props
and fame and boobs.
He gets money at the end if he wins.
Yeah, I think so.
Like they give him a check and some boobs.
Yeah, that seems. There's a lot of missing plot holes in this good thing. I'm not really going to go into a lot, but yeah, there's a lot of plot holes. But the thing you need to remember is Cable is not being controlled by himself. He's being controlled by the 17-year-old kid. Now, Cable has a missing wife. Well, his wife's not missing, but she's on the other side because he's gone into this prison. And they have a kid. And he's been in prison for so long that he hasn't really seen the kid grow up or anything. So he's trying to leave so that he can see his wife and kid. First problem with this film, red flag 1. Here comes my red flags.
Oh no.
So because he's gone to prison for, as we learn later on, murder, but we'll find out why, Cable's wife thinks the only way to really get money now that her husband is gone, is to kind of set herself up in this other VR experience called reality. And it's, society, not reality, society. Or something. One of those fucking ones. I don't remember. This is one of these films where I'm just like, I don't care.
Something,
but this is another game that people can do the same thing. You log in your home into someone's body, and then you can control that person and you can see what they see, but they're real people that you can control. She thinks the only way to get money now is to give up her body so that someone can control her body and she can make money. And that's the only way she can make a living, apparently. Not get a job anywhere else. But
it's VR OnlyFans.
It is pretty much.
Oh, is he like fighty and she's sexy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
Yep.
It gets bad, but I'm just going to go through it. But yeah, she thinks that's the only way. Now, the connection here is that the VR game that she's in is by the same developer that Mr. Cable is in. So he first created the VR reality game, and then he made the shooty bang bang game as his next project, which are
two different kind of bang bang games.
Two different kind of bang bang games.
Very good.
So one of the most disturbing scenes in this whole entire thing, which I don't know really what it says about the people who wrote about this, because remember, the film is called Gamer. Your target audience is probably going to be people who play games, maybe, I would say. I would hazard a guess, right? So the way they represent the people who play these games, so in one instance, she like gives up herself to like basically get paid so that her body can be used in this game. And the person that plays as her is this big, fat, sweaty guy who's like half naked in his, like he's fucking huge and he's sweating and he's in like a really damp and murky kind of room.
Is it like when in South Park when they all got...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly like that.
Relatable, I would say. It's relatable.
He's dipping his like waffles into maple syrup and just chugging it down in one go, and he's just like it's fucking disgusting. Like I'm thinking,
I'll be honest, that makes me slightly aroused. Dipping waffles into maple syrup, that's a dream.
It's funny you should say that, Andy. As we'll get to that in a minute. But my problem with that is like, so this is your representation of like a gamer, right? You're done the stereotypical, he's fat, he's alone, he eats a lot, he sweats a lot. He's probably on Reddit 25 times a day. Like, this is your target audience.
Yeah,
and you're fucking representing them as this.
Probably won't be appreciated by your audience.
But in fairness, the people who are like that would not be seeing it as, oh, look how grim they are. They'll be looking at it as, we get to control these women and fuck.
Yeah.
This is making me...
So, yeah. I mean, it is silly. It is stereotypical, let's put it that way. But it's also somewhat grounded in reality, maybe. Because if you had the chance to do that, there's probably going to be guys who be like, yeah, I want to play as a woman. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Anyway, this big fat sweaty guy has no name. I don't really know. Big fat sweaty dude. So he plays as Cable's wife every so often in this game, and he likes to get fucked, as in she gets fucked by a lot of guys. And the way they show this is by having the fat dude, whatever he says is kind of shown, she says basically. So he would say something like, "Oh, you're so hot." And then she would say, "Oh, you're so hot," to the character, I guess. Yeah. And then they do this thing where there's a man and then there's her. And what in actual fact is happening is there's two sweaty guys talking to each other going, "You're so hot. Yeah, baby, take it." Yeah, like it's
just weird, isn't it? It's grim.
It's fucking like the fat dude gets off to, he literally gets off, like he does his cum face and everything getting off to her getting. Sorry, this is going to be very explicit because it's a crank film more or less, but yeah, he does his cum face a lot. I'm just going to say. Anyway. Let me talk about Terry Crews for a bit. Terry Crews in this film.
Oh, Terry.
He is angry Terry Crews.
Oh.
Yeah, very surprised. He's actually the villain. He's like one of the villains in this.
Not Terry.
I know. I couldn't really get into him being a villain because it was just like, it's just Terry from bloody Brooklyn.
Yeah, love Terry.
So this plot, okay, again, there's going to be a lot of plot holes, but he is one of the convicts that is in this group that Cable is in. He doesn't want Cable to get to 30 games, so he gets released. So he's going to make his life a living hell while he's still there, aka try to kill him before he makes his 30 games. Why? I don't know. He just sort of felt like that.
Does Terry play? Is he in the Pew Pew games?
He is in the Pew Pew game. However, the twist is he sings a song one day. I'm not kidding. This is all happens in the film. He sings a song to Cable one day. You know the Pinocchio song, "No Strings on Me"?
Yeah. Got no strings to hold me down.
And he basically says to him, "No one's controlling me. I'm in here with my own actions. I've got faster reactions than you, not some fucking kid that's controlling you." So it raises a lot of questions to why Terry's after Cable, and also why is he not controlled by a kid or someone else outside of this prison? Very strange.
And I'm assuming he's not got 30 games, has he? Because he's still there. So no. Surely yeah, all right, but my kid's doing better than you on your own.
What's even weirder, Penny, is that he turned himself in. One day he just turned himself in. That's how he got there.
Yeah.
Strange. Really weird.
Is it not explained why he's in the games? I thought it was.
Yes, I will when I get to the ending, the horrible ending. So there's this, okay, Penny, as a
filthy casual, you can say it.
Casual gamer. Filthy fucking casual, I would say.
You've said it before, so you might as well carry on.
There are some references they make to games in this that I kind of laughed at because the way they explained it was very, I don't know, really just, Anyway, do you know what ping is?
No.
Okay, so ping is the time it takes for someone to press a button on the keyboard, say at your computer, to reach a server.
Okay.
So that's just milliseconds, like 80 milliseconds, whatever. So that's ping. Okay. Now, ping is very important in video games when you're playing online because you want to have
a fast ping.
A fast ping so that your reactions are on screen quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they make this whole argument about the fact that Cable is going to die because Terry Crews has no ping because no one's controlling him. But Cable's being controlled by a 17-year-old who's obviously going to have ping because internet connections in 2037 are not advanced enough to have less ping. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense in a...
Does it?
Well, it makes sense that he hasn't got a ping and Cable has got a ping. But what if Terry Crews' reactions are slower than Cable's ping?
Yeah, exactly. How do you not know that?
It just sounds adorable because it's a ping. My ping's better than your ping.
I should bring into this, Michael C. Hall, aka Dexter.
Dexter.
He is the owner of the game. He is the creator of both the Society game, Reality World Society game, and this one, the Shoot Shoot Bang Bang game. So he is the developer of both these games. He's mega rich. He lives in a really weird building, and yeah, it's him. He's fucking weird in this film. He's got a weird accent. Mm-hmm. He acts weird. He's kind of like a Nicolas Cage ripoff in this film.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
He has a weird dance number, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, towards the end as well, yes. It turns out that he doesn't want Cable to reach 30 wins. And he's the one behind the whole Terry Crews being there because he wants Terry Crews to go in there, kill him first. And yeah, just beat Cable.
It seems weird that nobody wants him to get to 30 games. Nobody had to make this rule that you could play 30 games and get out. Like, you could just stay on death row.
There's a reason, and I'll just say it now because I keep looping back on myself. But yeah, the reason why Cable is in there is the reason why everyone is in there. They have a chip in their head that makes them be controlled by someone else.
Yeah.
Cable doesn't remember this, but he does at the end of the film, was one of the first 2 people to use this chip.
Okay.
And the way they tested it was getting him to kill his friend by command.
Oh, so he didn't even really kill anyone. Like, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, from Michael C. Hall. Yeah. So Michael C. Hall was controlling him when they were testing it, and he doesn't remember this because he was kind of brainwashed and stuff. And he just, and for some reason, the kid that Cable had and his wife, he adopted the kid when Cable went into the prison. Just took it off the 2 of them for some reason. I don't know why he took the kid, really. I guess he wanted leverage in case he got out, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
I have a question. Sorry. Yeah. Are they controlling them with console controllers, like little?
No, it's literally like Kinect. If you just move your hands and your face, it's just
rubbish. I really wanted like Logan Lerman to be sitting there with like an Xbox controller.
No, it's like Minority Report.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, it's exactly like Ready Player One.
Yeah, it is pretty much like Ready Player One. Yeah. So there's a bunch of bullshit, but the 17 there is so much bullshit in this film. It's unreal. The 17-year-old kid makes contact with Cable for the first time. He's never been allowed to talk to him because obviously he's just, you're not allowed to talk to your convict player characters. He downloads a mod, gamer talk, to allow him to do this. Well done, there we go. He downloads a mod to allow him to do this. It's obviously against the rules because you're not allowed to speak to the convicts and stuff. And he speaks to Cable and they devise a plan for him to get out before the 30 wins because they're convinced because of Terry's low ping rate in terms of he's a human, he's going to kill Cable before it's too late. So we need to get him out of there as soon as possible. So this is the plan. And bear with me, it sounds fucking silly, but it is made by the Crank guys. This is just the way it is. In order to beat Terry Crews, he has to give over control, the 17-year-old, to Cable, so Cable can use his own body again. And he does do this, and his plan is before the next game, the 29th game or whatever, he grabs some alcohol, and he drinks, it's like a bottle of tequila or vodka. He drinks...
That's known for, heightening your reaction time, alcohol, obviously.
Yeah.
It doesn't slow you down or anything like that.
I was like, what? Where are they going with this? So he gets drunk, essentially. Going into a death match, he gets completely fucking wasted. He's rolling all over the floor. Gerard Butler is fucking a mess. I'm like, where are they going with this? He's drunk. How is he going to get out of here drunk?
It's a ballsy move, isn't it?
Yeah, I was thinking, this is weird.
Big dick energy.
It turns out this was his plan all along, was to get drunk. He finds a car.
In the prison?
In the prison. There's a car there with no petrol that he found earlier on in the film, but it has no petrol, so they can't escape or barge out of it. He vomits into the gas tank and also pisses into it so that the alcohol that he's injected himself, that he's hidden away from everyone else, can give the car petrol.
I mean, that is bullshit. That is bullshit. That's not a real thing, as far as I'm aware.
That's what happened.
That's one. If you could drive a car on alcohol,
yeah,
you can't.
You could.
So, but
no, you can't
he
on
wouldn't.
Alcohol, no.
No, but you also wouldn't be able to piss and puke enough of it to do anything anyway. You'd have been better off pouring the alcohol straight into the petrol tank.
Yeah, if the theory is that you could light it so it's combustible like petrol is, diluting it with piss and vomit and probably chunks of carrot, it's just not going to do anything, is it?
It's not the way to go. He's made more work for himself there.
Yeah.
The car starts up. I'm amazed he wasn't killed because there's people next to him who were getting shot in the fucking head and he's rolling on the ground because he's drunk. And I'm like, how is he alive? This makes no sense.
He's doing a barrel roll.
He's doing his own stunts.
Not with that ping rate.
But yeah, he starts the car up, of course. He starts the car up and gets away, drives through the stone barriers, and it's reported on the news that, oh, by the way, this is all like
it's live streamed,
broadcasted to the world. Yeah, it's like Cable is a big celebrity and so is the kid, blah, blah, blah. He escapes and he's classed as fragged, which is another gamer term for it, like KIA, dead, basically.
Oh.
But he just escapes, so they just make a story that he's died. R.I.P. They set a big funeral for him on live streams and stuff and all this kind of stuff. It's fucking ridiculous. Anyway.
This is a prisoner who killed someone.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Exactly. Yes.
And he's being treated like a fucking celebrity.
It's weird how 2037 works. By the way, we haven't got the best ping rate in 2037, even though broadband's probably advanced to extreme lengths. Ping is still a problem. There we go. Anyway, I'm going to... Okay, this bit is disturbing, and I'm sorry, but this is just weird. We're getting towards the end. So he escapes and he's going to find his wife. He finds out his wife is in the other VR game where she's kind of used as a, technically like a prostitute pretty much, by a fat sweaty guy.
Sex puppet.
Sex puppet. At one point,
sorry, Ben.
She is going into like this very, she's going into this very cyberpunky club being controlled by a fat sweaty guy, and he's like choosing her outfit and stuff, and it's obviously a very skimpy outfit. Her arse is showing. There's lots of boobs in this. There's so much boobs in this. There's where like it's crank. Like guys, it's so much boobs in this fucking game. She goes into a bar, orders a drink, and there's another person being controlled by someone else, who again is another fat guy, I think, by another guy, and his username is I'm Rick Rape.
Oh.
And he is a character that likes to, like a dog that's really horny, will like jump on someone's leg and just start moving. And then he goes up to her and says, I'm Rick Rape. We're going to go to the back and stuff. And I guess it's the fat guy going, yeah, sure. Like he gets off to this. He loves this kind of stuff. This is stuff he gets off to. So yeah, that happens. And before anything kind of happens, Cable storms in, saves his wife, looks at his wife, realizes after a time it's not her, it's the fat guy behind. So he's talking to her talking to him through her, saying, what have you done with my wife? Like shaking her, and I'm like, where is this going?
He'd be like, what haven't I done with your wife?
Sorry. Wink emoji.
Yeah.
It's just too cringe and weird and stuff, and I'm just like, yeah. Eventually he gets the chip out of his wife and stuff, and then she's able to come back to normal, but she's like, my daughter's gone, the guy who made the video game that you're in and I'm in has her. We have to go find him. His name is Castle, by the way. Michael C. Hall's name is Castle in this. Great name. The horrible I'll just explain the ending. The horrible ending is they go to Castle's house.
Ironically, not a castle?
It looks like a castle. It's pretty fucking big. It is pretty big, though. It's a big mansion. And he ends up doing a dance. Michael C. Hall.
I'm imagining it like, what was that video with, oh my God. My brain's gone blank. Brainstorm man. Christopher Walken. Like that Christopher Walken.
Weapon of Choice.
Yeah.
Weapon of Choice.
I'm just imagining it like that.
I would say it's more like, and I haven't seen this for a decade, it's more like the Thriller video, I would say. The Thriller dance.
I was going to say Clockwork Orange.
Oh, God.
All right, let's combine all three of those. Picture that. Is that.
And Dexter's
it's
doing it.
It's a little bit weird. Yeah. He's like, he sees Cable for the first time and he goes into his dance and he's singing and dancing along to I've Got You Under My Skin.
Yeah.
And he has his Batman and Robin 1960s goons fight him, and obviously because it's the kind of film it is, he beats them all up because they're shit. It felt like it. Like they were dancing along as well, I think, as well. It was fucking weird. It makes no sense.
Such a great reference, though.
I mean, pow, kaboom, like all that kind of shit. But yeah.
I'm back in.
Eventually, Michael C. Hall explains that, yeah, you were one of the test subjects. I need someone to test on. I took your kid in case you ever, like, figured out what was going on. And took her as leverage and stuff. But the thing is, I control you and stuff. I can control everyone that's connected on the chip. So basically, Cable can't kill Michael C. Hall, aka Castle, because Michael C. Hall can control everyone who's on this chip. So there's no way in hell that Cable can beat Michael C. Hall.
Did you say didn't he get the chip out of Cable's wife?
Out of his wife, not him.
Okay, but they could get the chip out of Cable then.
Yeah, but he can't get it out of himself, can he?
Again, plot holes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes that don't make sense. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense. There's a final face-off with Terry Crews, who dies instantly. It's like so fucking bad, like how they wrote Terry Crews. He's like this angry guy. He's like, I'm going to kill you. He fucking fails on every single occasion that they meet. Like every single time he never wins a fight. It's fucking ridiculous. And then Michael C. Hall is going to fight Cable, but he's like, I have the advantage because I can control you. At one point, he tries to get Cable to kill his own kid by putting a knife up to his like daughter and like saying, stab her.
I was going to say, if he can control him, he can just control him to stay still and stab him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like there would be much of a fight.
Well, that's what I thought. And then halfway through the fight, the 17-year-old kid who used to control Cable finds another hack. By the way, I forgot to mention Ludacris is part of this as well. Ludacris is part of an underground network that's trying to take down Cable. Sorry, trying to take down Castle. Oh man, there's so many names. So he helps out the kids to take down Castle so that they can kill Castle via Cable. So basically, they get rid of the chip mid-fight while Cable is fighting Castle.
They like hack his chip so then he can...
Yeah.
And then he can stab him, and he stabs him, and he dies. And this is the bit that's really weird, right? Not all like out of everything. This is the bit that's really weird to me. So Castle has a bunch of minions, as I said, the 1960s Batman minions that he has.
Yeah.
They all wear like turtlenecks and stuff. Like they're sat by watching this fight happen. They're all like just on their phones and stuff. He dies, Castle, and they go, whoops. And then as Cable's about to leave with his wife and child and happy ending and stuff, he goes to the guys that are the minions and he's like, can you just remove this from everyone? Enough blood has been spilt. And they're just like, yeah, sure. They press a button and that's it. And then no one's controlled by this thing that's been built up for like 30 years.
They just turn it off.
They just turn it off.
That's it. They turned it off.
Yeah,
that's the ending. Credits roll and that's it.
Yeah, no. Because
that's a bullshit ending.
He could leave for like, you'd leave that like 48 hours and you'd just turn it back on again, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Awful. It's awful.
When the credits roll,
yeah,
does it say game over beforehand?
Yes, it does say game over.
Of course it fucking does. Of course it does.
I don't know whether to be mad at the film itself or the lack of gamer references, but the ones that they did use were kind of insulting a little. This is like, this isn't really showing me anything. I haven't learned anything from this film. What the fuck was it? Like, what was I meant to learn from this? That fucking, I don't know, internet ping is going to be bad in the future? I don't know.
Do you know Second Life?
I do know I used to be part of Second Life.
Oh, I never played it. I saw that, was it Jimmy Carr was the first comedian to do a set on Second Life or something. But when you were talking about her and Fat Sweaty Man, I imagine that's a bit what Second Life ended up being.
It's exactly like it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what Second Life, the dark side of Second Life, once you got to the, once you pretended when you were a kid that, I'm over 18 and you went over to the dark side of Second Life, then there was some fucking weird shit you saw over there.
Everyone banging everyone.
Yeah.
There's a great documentary about it, I think, called Another Second Life or something. Go watch it. It's some weird shit. But yeah, that was gamer, and I haven't learned anything as a gamer. All I've learned is that I'm apparently a fat, sweaty guy.
I did. I learned about ping.
That's good.
You did learn about ping. Yeah. Well done. Maybe.
Congratulations.
Your next Call of Duty session, you'll be just that little bit more knowledgeable about network settings.
You'll be, asking about everyone's ping rate.
Yeah, how's your pings?
While I'm getting shot. That's a pew-pew game, right? Call of Duty.
Yeah, by 12-year-olds, normally. Abusive 12-year-olds.
I don't recommend this film, but it's kind of disappointing because even though it is very Crank-like, it is just too... Like, Crank's ridiculous. We all know Crank's ridiculous, but this is like silly, like too silly that it's like all those kind of over the top moments, which are fun, and there's like very violent, like Crank was, but it's just written like a silly, stupid story, and it just doesn't fucking pay off in the end. So yeah.
I mean, we've said it before, Crank is like that because that's how it was written. Like, that's the artistic style. This is
if
different.
it's supposed to be like that on purpose.
This is less so. What's the rating for this?
Well, on Rotten Tomatoes?
No, as in...
What's the ping rating?
PG, U, 12, 15, 18?
It's rated R, so 18.
18 then.
There's a lot of blood. There's so much tits in this. Like there's even, because I like final thing. Sorry, I keep going on, but like final thing. Remember when Penny or someone made a reference to the girls in Crank that were sitting in like glass bowls?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Someone made a reference to that. There's girls in glass bowls in the fucking bar, and it's the same chair.
Do you think they just recycled the set? It's the same universe.
It's weird. It does feel like the same universe. Like they're wearing the same clothes. It kind of feels like that same... It's the same style of camera shots as well. Like the whole thing is... It's not 16:9. I don't think Crank was 16:9, like widescreen. It was... I can't remember the fucking resolution, but you know what I mean. It's not the standard 16:9 widescreen, but it's filmed the same way. It's got a lot of like little things that are linked to Crank, I would say, but it's just horribly written.
I can't wait for Gamer 2 to be made and Chev Chelios just to turn up as like the boss battle.
I'd watch that maybe and see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm into the whole human robot wars angle.
I mean, you might like it, but it's kind of...
I probably won't.
Slightly offensive, this film. I gotta be honest. It's kind of slightly offensive. A little bit. I don't want to be that guy who's like, oh, you can't have women doing that and stuff. Like, I guess it, but it's still a bit too much. Like, I was watching it going, this is too much.
It's on the nose, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds offensive and on the nose, but like we just said with Second Life, I feel like that is exactly what would happen.
It's true. Yeah, that's the part of it that I'm like, you know what? It would kind of happen.
But we don't need that for wider entertainment purposes.
No.
If that's what you're going to do in your basement, then...
I mean...
Keep it in your basement?
Yep.
Keep it in your trousers. Anyway, that's Gamer.
I'll stick with Dogs 5. Thanks.
Dogs 5?
I wasn't sure where you were going with that.
Yeah, my silly computer game that you don't understand, Dan.
Oh, fuck's sake. That's, again, it's not a computer. It's a Trojan virus. It's not a computer.
I think I can handle my own business.
You're not hearing me. This is not something you can control. They gonna kill his ass, Simon.
I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I just play games, man.
That's right. It is a game. You want to win it, don't you?
Yeah.
Then you need to cut your strings, puppet master. No ping. You feel me?
I do. I do feel you, my giant brother.
Well, then let's rock, baby.
Reminder, pFLMS next week is Funny Games,
Woo!
the English version, right? English version of Funny
English
Games.
version, yeah.
You could watch the foreign version. They're shot for shot, as Andy and I were discussing earlier.
But we're watching
the English one.
We are, yeah.
So yeah, that's next week. So we're doing pFLMS. And Penny, what's the socials?
You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Unusual Suspects Pod, and on Twitter at Unusual Podspect. I'm at Penny_photopit.
At Dan Talks a Lot.
At Choices21.
We'll be next. Yeah.
That glug of coffee really helped, didn't it?
I didn't know what I was going to say. I'm still getting over that fucking film. I was just like, I'm so amazed by it, but I'm just like, yeah. Sorry, we'll be back next week. I can get my words together. And
blame the ping.
Blaming the ping. In fact, to be honest, I'm having actual internet problems right now. Sorry to break the sausage at the moment. But we've been having internet problems. That's what I call it.
Just snapping the sausage.
Snapping the sausage, having a look inside and having a little poke around.
Having a rummage.
Oh.
Yeah, we're having actual ping problems. So, you know, it kind of hit reality a little bit. So there you go. Anyway, hopefully not next time. We'll be back next time for more fun and sausages. I'm Dan.
See you later. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.